Nobody is getting rich doing what looks impressive. That is the uncomfortable truth I had to learn the hard way, and once I saw it, I genuinely could not unsee it. Think about the last time you saw someone post about their business on social media. It was probably a startup, an app, a brand, something that sounded visionary and scalable, and basically made for a TLET talk. Everyone in the comments was fired up. That is genius. You are going to make millions. And you know what? Most of those businesses are going to fail. Not because the people behind them are not smart, but because flashy and profitable are almost never the same thing. Here is what I noticed when I actually started paying attention to where real, lasting wealth gets built. It is not in the companies that get covered by Forbes. It is in the businesses. Nobody talks about dinner parties. The ones that sound boring when you describe them. The ones where someone goes oh so like a cleaning company. And you say yes, exactly. And they nod politely and change the subject. I want to talk about those businesses today, not because they are trendy, because I think most people scroll right past the best financial opportunity of their lives because it does not look the way they expected wealth to look. Let me start from the inside, from what it actually feels like to discover this. When I first heard someone explain that they owned a handful of vending machines and were clearing money every single month without going into work, my first reaction was skepticism. That sounded too simple, too unglamorous. There had to be a catch, because everything I was being taught, through school, through culture, through watching what people celebrated, told me that real business success came from something more complicated than a machine that sold snacks. That is the programming most of us carry, and it is quietly costing people their financial future. When people think about starting a business, their minds go straight towards something that has never been done before. Here is the thing. Many of the most lucrative businesses are the so-called boring ones, the ones providing everyday services we cannot live without. And this is the part that actually matters. The reason boring businesses win is not luck, it is structure. They generate predictable income from monthly contracts. They face low competition because most people avoid them, and they scale through systems, not through the owner grinding 80 hours a week. That is the design most people are sleeping on. So let me pull back the curtain on 20 of these businesses. Not to give you a list to screenshot and forget, but to show you a pattern and help you recognize the thinking behind them. Number 1. Vending machines. Okay, so vending machines are about as unglamorous as it gets, but they deliver real passive income when they are placed right and maintained. Modern machines use cashless payments and remote monitoring. One operator can manage dozens of machines without it taking over their life. You are not selling innovation. You are selling convenience, and convenience never goes out of style. The global vending machine market was over $18 billion in 2022 and is projected to nearly double by 2032. Number 2. Laundromats. Laundromats run average profit margins around 22% in a market valued at $6.06 billion. Modern operations use technology for payments, remote monitoring, cycle notifications, minimal on-site management needed. Some laundromats earn $1.08 million annually with 50% margins. Read that again. Number 3. Self-storage facilities. People are always moving, always downsizing, always storing stuff. Once you have got the space, you advertise locally and build revenue over time. Automated locking systems and online booking make it genuinely excellent for passive income. It is not exciting. It just works. Number 4. ATMs. This one surprises people every time. You are basically a microbank, charging a service fee for access to cash. Margins are thin per transaction, but the volume is massive and it is almost entirely automated. No product inventory. No customer service overhead. It generates revenue from the very first transaction. Number 5. Car washes. A self-serve car wash is basically a high-margin vending machine for soap and water. Gross margins often exceed 65%, and I love this. The primary cost of goods is cheap water and chemicals. Minimal labor. Substantial revenue. That is the whole pitch. Number 6. Parking lots. Steady passive income, especially in high-traffic areas. Low maintenance. low overhead. Some operators earn between $50,000 and $300,000 annually depending on location. You are just owning a patch of pavement. That is it. Number 7. Pest control. Bugs do not stop being a problem, ever. Pest control services are predictably in high demand, seasonal work plus ongoing contracts with clients. The industry is tapping into a growing $34 billion market, projected by 2030. People will always need this. Always. Number 8. Commercial cleaning services. Residential and commercial cleaning is always in demand. Residential gives you steady repeat clients. Commercial contracts give you bigger revenue. And here's the part I find wild. You can start a commercial cleaning business with as little as $2,000. That is one of the lowest barriers to entry on this entire list. Number 9. Junk removal. Junk hauling businesses have scaled to $3 million a year. Think about that for a second. Picking up other people's stuff. It is not complicated. But it is consistent, physical, and recession-resistant because people always have things they need removed. Number 10. Heat sheet. Novelty services. Heating and air conditioning services are essential year-round, and building a reputation for reliability leads to long-term contracts with residential and commercial customers. Long-term contracts. That is the magic phrase that keeps showing up across every single one of these businesses. Number 11. Bookkeeping. Low cost to start, can be run from home, and I want you to really think about this. Every single business on the planet needs someone to manage their numbers. That demand is not going anywhere. It is steady, recurring, and honestly pretty recession-proof. Number 12. Plumbing and electrical services. Local trades are the backbone of any community. Demand is constant, work is year-round, and the skilled trades gap is actually widening, which means less competition and higher rates for anyone willing to step in. Number 13. Auto repair shops. More cars on the road every year. Routine maintenance like oil changes and tire rotations creates recurring revenue. People do not stop needing this when the economy dips. They need it more. Number 14. Property management. Here is one I think is underrated. Property management businesses generate between $50,000 and $1 million in annual revenue. You do not own the properties. You manage them for people who do. You collect fees every month for keeping someone else's asset running. The assets appreciate. The fees keep coming. Number 15. Waste management and junk hauling. Essential for residential and commercial clients. Established operations generate between $1 million and $10 million annually. Essential, recurring, profitable. That is genuinely the whole formula right there. Number 16. Equipment rental. You buy the equipment once. You rent it repeatedly. The asset pays for itself and then just keeps paying you. Heavy machinery, event equipment, tools. People always need stuff they do not want to own. Number 17. Funeral homes. I know, but hear me out. Funeral homes generate income through service packages, memorials, and pre-planned arrangements. Demand is guaranteed. Competition is limited. And honestly, the emotional barrier to entry keeps most people from ever even considering it, which makes the opportunity bigger for those who do. Number 18. Franchise service businesses. Franchise in a boring industry, cleaning, pest control, HVAC, combines all the advantages of a recession-resistant model with a proven playbook. You are not building the system. You are just running it. Number 19. Rental properties. Real estate is the number one driver of wealth for most American households. Not flashy, not fast, but compounding, month after month, year after year. The math is slow, really slow. But it is relentless. Number 20. Coin-operated and automated laundry. Americans do an average of 8 loads of laundry per week. Laundromats charge $2 to $4 per load. Multiply that across a full machine set, running all day, every day, with no employees on site. Predictable cash flow. No huge fluctuations. Just steady, boring, beautiful income. Now, here is the uncomfortable math. Most people avoid these industries because they are not glamorous. And that avoidance creates a massive opening for anyone willing to just show up. The gap between people who build wealth and people who spend their whole lives working is not talent. It is not even capital, in most cases. It is willingness to do the thing that does not look impressive. The startup gets the likes. The laundromat gets the cash flow. I spent years thinking wealth was supposed to look exciting. That real success came wrapped in pitch decks and product launches and something you could explain at a dinner party without people's eyes glazing over. And the whole time, the people actually building financial freedom were doing it quietly. With machines that sold snacks, with buildings where people stored their furniture, with trucks hauling away junk at 7 in the morning. Most boring businesses are recession-proof. When the economy shifts, when the market drops, when the next big disruption hits, people still need their pipes fixed, still need their clothes washed, still need somewhere to store their stuff. The boring business does not care about the news cycle. And this is the thing nobody taught me growing up, the thing I had to figure out on my own. Wealth is not built by doing what gets attention. It is built by owning things that generate value while you sleep. Not because it sounds impressive. Because the math works every single month, whether you are watching it or not. So here is what I want to ask you directly. Are you chasing something that looks good, or something that actually works? Because those two things are rarely the same. You do not have to be the most creative person in the room to build something real. You just have to be willing to look at what actually works, and be honest enough to choose it over what looks good. That is the shift. That is the whole thing. Pick the boring business. Build the boring income. And one day, you will look back and realize the most interesting decision you ever made was the one that sounded the least interesting at the time.